So, you are a healer, and a lot of healers roots back to processes and things that were experienced during childhood. You want to talk a little bit about how your childhood experiences have led you on the path you're on right now?
Through self-healing, first I think to be a healer you have to have healed yourself somewhere, whether it be through water, through vibrational healing, or through holographic healing, or many other ways there are to heal. As a small child, had to do a lot of healing every single day on myself so that I would not get emotional scars from what I went through. And by doing that, I think it made my healing ability stronger, and it also taught me deep spiritual lessons. So today, what I try to do is I try to help people understand about their body and how it is the temple and how it is the vehicle or the car for the soul. And we are here having an spiritual experience in this vehicle or temple. And we often stay in autopilot mode, and we let other energies have access to our bodies and use them for what they want to carry out. And if we became more aware and actually stopped living life in the autopilot mode and started to become the pilot of our temple, our vehicle, then we would have life a lot easier, and we also would be able to flow and go up the DNA spiral or ladder, as I call it, much faster and easier.
So what exactly is the DNA spiral?
Well, the DNA, if you look, it's like a ladder, spiral ladder that's spinning, and the base, you have the base, and then you have what I call the point of enlightenment, or what higher frequencies or vibrations. People go all the way to 12D or even 20D. I've heard 24D, but there are much higher frequencies. I think that what's been happening in the world is we don't know this. We have lost the instructions on how to go on a soul journey and go up the ladder. And this is all just an experience. And we have got caught in the system here, and we have failed to see the signs that the matrix system gives to us every day, telling us to go up the ladder, to climb higher. We get stuck at points because we try to hold on or fixate on things, and also with all of the other energies or entities that are also trying to keep humanity at the bottom of this ladder, so it can take the energy, so it can actually use that energy to time travel or to do many things with, because soul energy is the most highest sought after energy there is, because it can be used for multiple reasons. We need to become back in control of our soul energy, our souls, and our body and our vehicles. And by doing so, we can then use them and go higher up the ladder. Now, the DNA is a spinning staircase. I think in the Bible it's referred to the story of Jacob's ladder, which is interesting, where he has to go up the ladder to get to heaven. We must continue to evolve on a soul level and physical level and spiritual level all at the same time to climb the ladder. And we at the same time protect ourselves energetically. Now, the matrix system is often referred to as a prison planet or prison trap, when actually it is quite possible to ascend past it if we took the symbols around us that it was referring back to us, that was showing us, because the matrix system reacts to what you put out. And every single instant is trying to help you to get out of here. But it's your soul that wishes to stay here because you are too scared to change and you want to hold on. So by holding on, you are holding on to de-evolution. And eventually the ones who have held on have been caught in this matrix system for a long time, and they have grown accustomed to 3D and actually like being here and having wealth and riches here. And they are trying to hold down the rest of the planet from ascending and use their energy so that they can continue to hold the power that they have here. And they don't want anybody to go up the spiral staircase, because then those people would be enlightened and would leave this realm. So they are trying to hold people into this realm. And oftentimes it's not their faults, but rather our own faults of wanting to be in autopilot mode rather than pilot mode.
So I love how you talk about autopilot, pilot being the pilot of your own body, and your body is your spaceship, and we can go on to this about how your body can really take you into a different dimension. And I love what you're talking about, how they are keeping us in a lower dimension. Do you want to talk a little bit about who they are and the experiences that you have with them?
Well, there are different factions this instant that are here on Earth, many different factions this instant. There's a lot of inner warring, and then there are a group that steals energy. I think in Gnosticism they call them the Archons or things like that. What people don't understand is that this place here, this with the worlds and the planets you see in the sky and the stars, they don't understand is that we are in a bubble. There are many galaxies and many universes and many vibrations. And what you see in space is the subconscious or the abyss. It's the subconscious. And initially what's happening is we, or those who have, not I, that is, I try to continue on my path all the time because what's most terrifying would be to not evolve, to no soul evolution, because of the fact that no soul evolution makes you come into a robotic being here, or being that's vampiric here, because you refuse to evolve because you want to hold on. And so what people need to understand is that the subconscious is space, and that the things that come from there are the people who have been trapped here. They have literally turned themselves into different things. With reptilians, the reptilian is keeping the reptilian mind on too long. It even serves a purpose, because what it does is it helps you survive. It's survival mode. We are supposed to have put that at rest. However, some humans decided to stay in it, and they evolved on a reptilian or reptile level rather than the level that they were supposed to evolve. They were supposed to only use that when needed. Now, because of that, many worlds have been destroyed. As you can see, Mars and everything up there, they're desolate. Many of you souls, and most likely all of you, have been to those different planets, and you have not realized that your own creations and your refusal to evolve has made your planets die. So then the souls would evolve to other planets, and so on and so on and so on, until you take care of that within yourself, within your cellular, your micro. Then you can it will be taken care of on the macro, and this world will change on a grand scale. And to do so, you must go within yourself, and you must remove old thought patterns, and you must reprogram yourself in a different way. Old thought patterns, negative thought patterns, such as fear. Fear is what keeps most people back. Small things, just the fear of not having rent each month, is something that can keep you down. And people don't understand this. They are caught up in society, so they think that these things are normal, but they aren't normal. They are keeping people from soul evolution. And trying to explain this the best possible way I can.
So let's talk about ways that people are able to help pilot their body in a more healthy way, like having a relationship with your body versus ignoring or hating the body, or having,
Yeah, people often ignore or hate their vehicle or their temple, and they treat it badly, and they don't think that they do, and they don't treat it with care and with love. And simple things like not eating well it harms your body. And the more you take care of your body, and I'm not talking about on how you look or egotistical way or anything like that. I'm talking about nurturing it as a growing child, because that's what it is. It is like a ship, and the more you nurture it, the more it will go into place where it needs to, and you will be able to have beautiful experiences such as visions and interdimensional travel where your soul goes other places, and you will be shown all you need. And you won't have fear and you won't have anything else, but you need to get your body into place. And you can do that by working on the water in your body and working on the holographic, what I call holographic, also fractal, and also vibrational healing. By using those things, you can go ahead and get better or get well. The water in our bodies needs to be clean, because if it's not clean and if it's not alkaline, if we're not alkaline and the water's not clean, we are then pulled to more negative places. We are pulled to places according to the vibration of our water or cleanliness of the water within our body.
So what are ways that we can keep our body of water vibrationally cleansed, in disregarding the potentially negative influences of the society around us?
We get less and less negative influences when we decide to go higher vibration, and when we decide to evolve on a soul level. Then everything, we start going up the spiral staircase and everything just drops behind, because it's not allowed to go up that staircase like us. So it falls off of you. To do so, I think first of all, you will have to acknowledge that you are having an experience here, that your body is just not you, that you have a soul and you are inside of a body. Next, I think it's about forgiveness of your body, and forgiveness is a huge thing all the time. People often will carry weight because they haven't forgiven themselves, or they'll carry emotional weight because things have happened to them even in childhood, and they haven't healed that. So what you have to do, you have to go back to that point, process those emotions, reprocess those emotions that left an emotional scar on you, and then you can move ahead after that. There are many, many ways to take care of yourself and help yourself to get more high frequency or vibration or tone, whatever people choose to say, or nearer to God. As I cannot explain God in words, because nobody could ever explain God in words, but to get higher to that source or source energy, or you can do certain things. I mean, simple things like drinking lemon water and alkalizing your body is very, very, very important. Also, eating foods that have what I call live water in it, such as watermelons, all sorts of fruits and vegetables that have live water in it. Also, I think a huge thing is to forgive ourselves, forgive everybody around us. Forgiveness is always, for me at least, when I work with people, it's the biggest thing. Forgiveness is the biggest thing. So karmically, we can also, and on an energetic level, we can also go ahead and heal our bodies by helping others around us heal. And we can do that by kindness to them, and by also having healthy boundaries and things like that. So what we are trying to do is build a platform where we have a healthy, balanced life, and healthy emotional balance also, and that will lead to spiritual balance. And you can do that by there's a list of things that I could actually list out of how you can do that, but I would say by sitting down also and doing certain exercises every day. Meditation, even if it's looking at a flame for a couple of minutes, works. You have to relax your body. I put it into different states. I lay down and close my eyes and clear my head and put my hand right here, and then put my hand right here, and it clears out all of the digestive system, and I'll feel heartbeats all down my stomach, and get different visions from just that alone by having my eyes closed for a couple of minutes. And that clears out everything, because of all of the negative emotions often get caught in the guts, or the lower, this is at the bottom, what I call the DNA spiral staircase, or the more base energy. So they often get caught here, so I can get them to pass out by just simply doing this, and it'll pass out any blocked emotions that are in my heart chakra and my core. It'll pass them out of me, and I'll drink a lot of water before I do that, so it can actually just evacuate, and that works really good. Well, that's one of the exercises I do every single day before I go to sleep.
Can you talk a little bit more about, how maybe your personal hurts and then ways you're able to heal yourself. Because I think personal experiences are...
all of this that I have is from personal experiences. It isn't from reading online or anything like that or books. I think I'm really now just getting into that stuff. I've had so many experiences since I was a small child. I grew up mostly in the wilderness where nobody was, and my older brother and sister helped take care of me, and eventually I had to take care of my younger brothers and sisters. We were quite a large family, and we were abused very badly as children for quite a long time. And the only way I was able to get through that was by sitting down and actually having my connection to Source, since I did incarnate here specifically to go ahead and do the things that I needed. But I think that the main thing that got me through all of this was to sit down and just a couple of minutes as a child whenever I had time free, because I wasn't allowed to play like other children or be around other children, and it was rather really harsh. I still would wake up every morning and smile and be totally happy because I could process everything that was happening to me rather than letting it emotionally scar me. And I was processing it as a child already, so that whenever I was able to be out of the situation that I was when I was 23 and a half years old, I came into society and still had the mindset of a little child, but had processed everything. So I was running on almost a higher level, like a computer almost, how, you know, when you install new software. I had already passed everything else, so I had new uploads, so I was able to cope in society a lot better and not get on drugs or drinking or anything because of the abuse that I had went through as a child. And it also made my spiritual life much stronger, and the experiences that I had. And it seemed like, whereas I wasn't given nurturing from my mother as a child, I was given it by the universe and everything that was divine.
That's beautiful. Where do you go from there? So, I'll pull this out for a second. Okay. So you talk about getting nurturing from the universe. How can one deepen their connection with the universe?
Well, the universe is all. I mean, everything's calling out to us. It's whether we want to see it or not, whether we want to live in autopilot mode or not. And oftentimes we want to live in autopilot mode because we're so scared. So I think it's just getting over fear. The universe is always there to help us. I've been in very dangerous and bad situations, and I've always been taken care of because of the fact that within my heart, and it's always within your heart, I kept a good heart, and I knew that no matter what, that despite I didn't have help from people or anything, I had help from the universe, and it would never fail me. And I would deepen that connection from when I was a child by listening more. Right? It's the same as a relationship with another person. The more you listen to them, the more they react to you and they want to communicate with you. But if you always ignore them, they don't want to speak to you eventually. Eventually, they get hurt and harmed. And I would say that everything around us is alive, especially outside in nature, and it wants to speak to us. And we need to listen instead of stopping and acting like it's not there and trying to erase it out. Because when we erase that out, we erase ourselves out, and we erase our connection to everything that's divine.
All right, let's talk about flowing emotions.
Okay, so emotions must flow through us, and we must understand them and process them and move ahead. And oftentimes sickness or disease is caused from emotions that aren't flowing, that then cause blocks and that are trying to pull you. Then they manifest in 3D, and they try to pull you to that area of your energetic body, saying that you have blocks there and that they're really severe and they are preventing you from going ahead spiritually. And oftentimes in society, in our healthcare system, they prefer to patch the blocks up rather than help process them on a spiritual level, so then that we could continue flowing. And the thing is that we need to realize that our energetic body, our spiritual body, is just as important as our physical body. We're seeing it the wrong way around. we're seeing it in the healthcare system that what we do to this body will heal us, when actually it's what we do to the other body, because the other body builds. It is the holographic basis for which this body is built on here in 3D. So by working on that, we could literally heal anything that there is. And the medicine of the future is working on the holographic body, on the spiritual body, on the soul body. That's what is divine. Now, with water, you have to clean it out so that there is no blockages. And so you have to do the water cleaning, but you also have to do holographic clearing. And that is taking out blocks or hurt or harm and streaming those emotions through. Because the thing is that lower emotions, what we want to do is we want to keep flowing so that we flow to higher emotions. And those are where you will experience God or source energy, or what they call God here. Then you will be able to flow in those emotions through your body. But until you relieve old hurt and old emotional patterns, you will not be able to move ahead to higher vibrations and higher emotions.
So I want to talk a little bit about manifesting with emotions.
We can manifest anything that we need. I often do it all the time. I've never wished to be rich or anything like that, because I think that is, for me at least, I'm on a spiritual journey. And the fact is that I trust the universe takes care of me. So when you start to trust the universe and you start to take the steps to take care of yourself, then you can manifest anything that you want. But those are the first steps that you need to take. And that's of course, that's emotional clearing. So because blocks often keep us from manifesting anything that we need, whether it's spiritual or on this level.
So let's talk about this idea of always feeling abundantly provided for by the universe.
First, we have to prove ourselves. That's the thing. We do that by taking care of ourselves spiritually and on a physical level, and of course our spiritual body and whatever else is needed. And then we will be put through different tests, but you don't climb that ladder quite easily. I mean, you didn't come here for a free ride. That's the thing. You don't understand yet, but you came here to experience everything. And as we do, and as we follow that ladder up more, we will be blessed in every way possible, and whatever we wish that is. And we won't have to search for love, because love will come to us. We won't have to search for the things that we want to do on a grand scale, because that will come to us. But it's only going to come to us when we are spiritually ready for it. And to do that, that's when we have to continue climbing the ladder and working on ourselves and proving that we are able and capable of taking care of abundance.
So, in regard to the abundance that is in the world currently and being misguided, how do you think we can work to redirect that energy?
I think that I think that we can approach people who are in control of these things, and we can go ahead and speak to them, or we affect them at a vibrational level just by working on ourselves. We're affecting them, and they will eventually change, and they will seek projects and different stuff to show their change actually to humanity. And I think that could be quite a good thing energetically for them. So the world is changing, and I think as long as we go ahead and focus, and we also be creative. I mean, I tell people, like, I travel a lot, and I would tell people, like, contact your local radio station and, air stuff, air what you wish. I mean, start small local businesses, trade, do stuff like that, and start to become in your own little towns. There's many little towns in the United States already on that level where they could help each other out more, where they could start small local businesses and things like that, and start, organic farming or beehives for honey or stuff like that. And then that's when we'll self-empower. And as we do, the big companies will eventually have to go ahead, and they will have to change, and they will go ahead and be more interested in funding projects like that.
So talk more about this self-empowering ourselves in the community.
self-empower and let's see, I think going to your schools and asking for better lunches, or going to the city council and asking for different things that's needed in your community is very important. I think rather than going to the bar all the time or getting drunk, we should put effort into changing our community. I had an idea of trying to get them to do better lunches, and I'm actually working on that right now. If we could serve organic lunches or healthy lunches with the least vegetables and stuff to children, it would be much, much better. I think that people just aren't getting involved how they should, and they're just sending if they are, they're sending letters to their senators, and it's not doing the change, because you cannot lean on somebody else to do the change. You have to do it yourself. You have to take the steps. You can't just, even if it's a mass amount of people sending letters to senators, it's not going to be the change. You take the change, a step and change, and then they will follow.
I love that about the idea of we have to lead for the leaders to follow.
We do. We have to take control. That's the whole thing of being in autopilot mode or being in pilot mode. We need to become the pilots instead of letting our leaders be the pilots and we're in autopilot mode like sheep following them all the time.
So there's a lot of this coming out in the media now about the Illuminati, about the shapeshifters, about all the deceit. You know, there's bankers that are killing themselves. There's, you know, all these whistles are being blown on society.
Well, do you see the matrix system that the banker is caught in? He cannot do with less than $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in his bank account. He can't cope with that, so he could not dream of not having anything. To him, that's already, his matrix is broken down, so he prefers to give his life rather than to change. He's so holding on to change. This is really interesting that that's happening right now, because you're seeing how people work and how people who even have more things than a lot of people or more money still would not be able to cope without having them. And so that's really, really interesting. Also, I think with all of this stuff going on with the Illuminati and everything else this instant, you know what? It's really, really, really like, they are like, look at us, hey, give us your energy, because they know that energy, or soul energy, is the most powerful currency and most sought after currency there is. So they know how, the Illuminati and everything else, they know how to get your energy and take it. So if you are focusing on that, rather than focusing on yourself and focusing on making change, if you're focusing on giving your energy every single day to, quote, terrible demon-possessed presidents and the Illuminati or whatever else, you are failing the whole point, and they're actually keeping you down, because what you're doing is you're giving them energy, and you aren't even realizing that you're doing their agenda, and their agenda is to get as much energy, and you are giving that to them when you focus on that. So I think the healthy thing to do is to forgive everybody around you and go ahead and do change yourself in your own community.
Such as planting local gardens.
It's amazing. I mean, I was seeing Russell Brand. He was doing some project on your own gardening. That's really, really good. If we could start that would be amazing in cities. I think they're starting that in New York and some other places, but if we could have that in every single city in the United States, that would be amazing, gardens. And if we could have things where they promoted more like fresh water, rather, if we could get fluoride out of the water or get chlorine out of the water in certain cities, that would be a major thing, just that alone. So if you got involved in doing that and did petitions to do that, that would be amazing.
You talked about live water and food with live water. Can we talk about the difference between live water and treated water?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, treated water treated water is water that has not been healed on an emotional level, and water feels. That's the thing. Water is the basis of us feeling, and we feel. That's how we pass energy through the water inside of us. In fact, I think we could have free energy through water, and that will be figured out one day on a molecular level. The thing is that if our water, it either allows us to do many things. It allows us to astral travel, interdimensional travel, to have the most amazing spiritual experiences. We can travel through galaxies or to different vibrations through it. And initially, what they know this, so what they do is they treat the water and put chemicals in it, and they harm the water, and we drink the water, and we're drinking harmed water, which is then harming our souls, or our soul energy and ourself, because it's locking us into this body. And we are not made to be locked into this body. We are made to travel many different places. And the thing is that we need to do healing, mass healings, I think, on the waters. That would be the thing to do, so that we could change people in mass around, and they would just start to change on a molecular level. And it would be quite amazing if we worked on our waters, because that's where the world change would come from.
So water is a vortex.
Water is a vortex. It is the basis of all life, and it's the basis of everything that is. Water, I think there was in Russia, there was some article about UFOs that the Russians had put out, that UFOs loved water, and it was because they're using the water as a portal to come interdimensionally. And when I go to different places, it's always through the water. So I always try to keep the water in my body as clean as possible. Emotional cleansing is very important. I try to keep myself emotionally cleansed, and then cleansed on this level too.
So situations arise in everyday life where people get stressed out, they feel overwhelmed. How do you clear that immediately, especially with family members that push certain buttons, emotional buttons?
See, I had to live every single day with a very abusive person in my life growing up. So I had to approach it in such a way that it did not harm me like normally. So often, if I kept a higher vibration within myself, it did not harm me. So I think it's to rise above that. We need to clear those emotions and try to get to higher vibrations, and then that will not affect us in the same way. We will look at them and see their hurt and their harm, and we will see that negative energies are accessing them and also harming them. And we will understand then of why they act that way, and we will be able to seek the tools and help them out. Through our own healing, we can help others out, and it affects others. So I think the thing to be able to cope with situations like that is to process your own emotions, and to give kindness to that person, and have healthy boundaries actually, but also to work really, really, really hard on your own self. And when your vibration goes up, those things won't faze you as much. Trust me, I've been through it really, really badly, and things wouldn't faze me, and everybody else would be upset, and I would be quite calm, and I would look at it on all levels and be able to process it.
How are you processing it?
On all different levels. Because I have let energy flow rather than force. I think it's funny because I see all of these like movies where they talk about I'm the force, and that's the wrong thing. The force actually blocks you. To force is to block, and it's to force. It's to flow. You have to flow. That's it. And I think that's it. I looked at it on all levels, and I let it flow. And I let it flow and process. And as I did, that's how I can cope with it. And that was my way of coming above that.
So it's about flowing with the universal design as opposed
right, like water flows. It's about flowing with the universe and flowing through this matrix system rather than forcing ourselves to stay here in 3D and hold on to whatever we can here. We are forcing our own de-evolution, or soul de-evolution, body de-evolution by doing so.
So how long have you been doing work with water healing?
You know, it was since I was younger. Once I had an experience where I went down some waterfall and nearly drowned, and I didn't seem to drown, and I was in the water and I could feel it flowing, and it was such an amazing experience because I was so calm. Even though I was like at the bottom of the river before my friend pulled me up, I was calm. I wasn't freaking out or anything. And so I had some very, very interesting experiences with water like that. And I've worked with water since I was younger, I was able to realize how precious it was and work with it and sit there and literally just chant in my mind different vibrations or different tones, I guess you could say, or different sounds, and it would have an effect on my water. I would use crystals and everything to purify my water.
Let's talk more about using crystals to purify water.
Well, a long time ago, the crystals used to be what kept the water clean here on the earth. That's the thing. They used to be used to program the water and keep it clean when there was much higher vibrational times on this earth or higher frequencies. And so the crystal system on this earth is sort of computer system for water. This whole earth is like a ship. It's really interesting. But I'll have to explain that some other day. We can use, through intent, the crystal is, some crystals, they're like a computer memory. They hold memories, and we can use some crystals also, depending on the crystals and whatever you sense, you can use the crystal, and you can put a thought within there, and then literally the thought will be like, I can put a vibration, a heart vibration within this crystal, and it would literally give it back to me, but on a more intense level, so it would affect the water in me.
Is there any last thoughts you'd like to stream?
Yes, I would like, I think that this instant I am working on the water very much, and I was noticing one of the newspapers here in Seattle said seasick on it because the Super Bowl, so it had some headline that said seasick, and I thought that the matrix system was saying that there is some issues going on with the sea, the water, it's tainted, that we needed to work on that more, and I think that we can affect that, and I know actually we can affect that by working on the water in ourselves and keeping the vibration there well, so that it'll affect the oceans of this earth, because that is what keeps all life. So hopefully when anybody has time, if they can sit and they can work on the ocean and send love to the ocean so that it may heal, because our waters must heal, because it's the basis of everything. There is precious on this earth.
It's beautiful. So how can people reach you?
Through ReikiAbundance.com. You go to www.reikiabundance.com, and there will be my bio on there, and hopefully we can go ahead and do more interviews with awakened people and continue to actually do some sort of change in the world. With my thoughts, I always like doing it on a micro level and then watch it in the macro level. And so hopefully with this, it will allow me to interact with more people and more gifted people on earth, because I would really like to do that.